Good morning. I'm Anthony Schrader. I'm in Section 1. It meets on Monday at 10 to noon. So I'm going to talk about the history of CSGO. Um, so have you ever played CSGO or wanted to play any video games? If you haven't, it's time to learn how to play. I've been watching this game for about 5 years now, and I've been doing research about the game and its history. So I have a mnemonic device that can help teach this history of the game and the game itself. So it's CSGO, so C for collision, S for scandal, and G for gameplay, and major for O, so at the end, major as an O. The reason to listen to this is now now you may never have played video games in your life, but I think this story of CSGO can inspire you to think about playing at least or watching some video games in the future. So let's first talk about gameplay. So the basics of the gameplay is attack and defense. So the attackers are trying to blow up a bomb in sight, which there's two sites, and the defenders are trying to stop the attackers. It's a 5v5 at the start. So the goal is to the attackers to get into one of the sites, set the bomb, and then try to protect it till it blows up. And the defenders try to kill every attacker before they can plant the bomb, or if they do get the bomb planted, they have to retake the site and defuse the bomb before the time goes out. So then there's some guns in the game that are used. The AK-47 and the M4 are the most common ARs. They're the most expensive ARs, but they're the best for how much damage they do. So I have a visual of an AK-47, and then there's another gun. It's the AWP. It's the sniper rifle, so it has a super slow rate of fire, one shot, and should kill in one shot if you hit them in the high thighs or above. Compared to the AK and the M4, those will take like 4 shots if you hit them all in the chest, or 3 shots. But a headshot will also kill them if they don't have head armor, which you can buy. So I have pictures of the AK-47 and the AWP. So let's talk about collision now. So Half-Life was the original game of this, so they made a mod on Half-Life on PC to create Counter-Strike. So that's what it was called at first, Counter-Strike, on the Half-Life game. And then Valve, the owner of Half-Life, saw how many people were playing Counter-Strike and decided that they were going to try to grow that game out of it. And so they got this version called 1.6, which a lot of people were playing, and it was growing and growing and growing. And then, as games do, they made another version called Source. And Source wasn't as popular at first because it kind of sucked at the beginning. There was some bad gameplay mechanics and some bad servers. So a lot of people played on 1.6 still because it was a good game. It was just better, to be honest. And then it became CSGO Global, or CSGO, which is Counter-Strike Global Offensive. And that's the combined mix of 1.6 and Source. So it has things from 1.6 and things from Source, which people didn't like at the start for the competitive scene, because most of them only knew 1.6 or only knew Source, so they weren't too happy. But then they just learned, and they got to be super good at CSGO. And as every game, it evolves and the players evolve. So let's move on to scandals. There's multiple scandals in this game. Skins being one of the main scandals in the game. So skins you can buy for any weapon. You can buy crates, and then you can also bet on those crates. And that was the biggest problem, because Valve looked to be setting a precedent for gambling for underage. Some of the sites apparently were not verifying age, so it was underage gambling, which is against the law, and that was not a very good look for Valve. Then another scandal was throwing games. So top 10 scandals, YouTube. iBuyPower is the team that was caught for throwing a game in a CSGO major. 4 players were permanently banned from the game. It just wasn't a very good look. You don't want to be throwing games. Look at it in the MLB. They all got in big trouble. This was pretty heartbreaking for the community, as 4 players from one of the biggest teams at that time were permanently banned from the game. They were throwing for skins in the game to make profit and betting against themselves. So let's move on and talk about majors in CSGO. These are the biggest events in all of CSGO. There's about 2 a year. There's been 15 total. That's from Liquipedia I found online. It's just the most important tournaments and the most important time. And I have a clip that shows all the majors winning. You can watch one of those. I'll put it in the email with the AK-47 and the M4. So let's go into conclusion. I've talked about gameplay, collision, scandals, and majors. I hope, has this motivated any of you to maybe want to watch video games in the future? Hopefully it has. I hope the highs and lows of this speech and the video games helps people realize how similar it is to professional sports.